Hi. For this week, I just want to give a quick overview of what is expected and what I plan and try to provide you with some tips that will help you really get ahead and finish the project strong. As you can see on the screen, I've got week 11, lectures 20 and 21. We do have guest lectures for both, and they're both going to be broadcast at the regular lecture time. For Tuesday, which is lecture 20, we have Grace Cricket, who used to be a vice chancellor at Whitewater. She's now and also an administrative position at UW Eau Claire. She's going to talk about enterprise risk management. She's got a great background on it. She worked with the University of California system prior to coming into Wisconsin. On Thursday, we have Angela Banerjee. She is, I believe, the loss control director at Acuity Insurance up near Kohler, Wisconsin. And both of them have spoken before. As you can see on the screen, I've got links that you don't have access to. But for Thursday, I'm going to need you to sign up for webinarjam again. I know that all of you signed up for the Tuesday and it's reoccurring. I had to create a new one for Thursday because I didn't want to mess with the Tuesday. And I've got the link right here. You see it on the screen under lecture 21. I'll probably give it to you in an email as well. Please just go in and register your first name, last name, email, and then you'll get the notifications for the Thursday. So again, both are at 11 o'clock. One is on Tuesday, one is on Thursday. I will be hosting a WebEx at 12:30 on Thursday to answer any questions you have. The next due date for the semester project, I'm sorry I went so fast, is November 20th. So not next Sunday, but that Friday. I have to take a furlough day on November 13th, Friday, so I will not be available for any sort of WebEx or calls or assistance. You can reach out to me on Saturday, Sunday, and it would be great if everybody could actually get what's due on the 20th done so that you could really start cleaning up your Excel. I wrote a few notes here. So first of all, always make sure that you are storing it properly or doubly. Because at this point, if you lose the work you've done, it's going to take a while to build it back. Also, use the proper title. Some of you still aren't using a title for the document that has your name or your initials in it, an indication of your progress. Please do that. Things are going to start getting mixed up if you don't. Another is your comments that are on each tab should speak to the results and not to what you think of it, but this is the main finding from this page. And it would be good if you went back and updated all of your tabs and actually attempted to connect the dots. How what you learned on this tab relates to this tab this way. Because that's what it's essentially your planning document for writing the technical report, which I'll get to in a moment. Last is housekeeping. I'm going to show you an example here of what I mean. Reviewing these documents each week are taking me a long time because I have to download it in order to review it. And once I download it, I have to click the thing so I can go in and manipulate it. And I'm checking your work. On some tabs, you guys just have a tab. It's called Sheet 13, and I don't know what's on it. What am I supposed to be looking at? So you're making me search for your work, and that's driving me crazy. So please, I'm going to show you how I expect it without what sans the comments because I want those to be yours. But please start cleaning up your work. If there's a tab you use for pivot tables, you're not going to use it again, get rid of it. As long as it's not relying on it. Make it nice and clean so that I can go in and track everything. And the last thing is I want you to be able to check your work. And I'm going to show that. Those are the two things I'm going to show you in a moment. Before I do, I made kind of a big change this week. And here's another thing. I was reading the reflection. Are you guys clicking on the reflection each week and looking what I write? So I'm going to click on it here. I'm doing something a little bit different this week. Again, this is due on Sunday for week 11 reflection. For this week's reflection, submit a draft of your technical report. You guys got to start working on it. I don't want you to wait till the end. Right now, you can completely write the introduction. Use the technical report I provided to you for Module 2 for writing that executive summary. Use that as a format, but don't copy it. I actually put a plagiarism on this one. Let's see. This is just a draft. I just want you to start writing it, putting it together. I want you to be thinking about, okay, I'm doing this analysis. Why am I doing this analysis? What am I attempting to determine in this analysis? And start putting it into the technical report. What am I finding? from my data analysis and put it into the report. You got I think starting that now, and I'm going to be asking, I think this is what I'm going to kind of ride here for a few weeks. I really want you to really be thinking about the results from a presentation perspective now versus I'm just kind of following his technique and hopefully the numbers match up. So please, this week, multiple pages. You're submitted as a Word document. I just want to read through and see where you all are. So that's what the reflection is this week. Start writing the technical report for this loss run data analysis project. I hope that's clear. The last thing I want to show you, it's already gone longer than I had wanted. So this is an example of what I want to do. So when I open your document and I go on a tab, and this is PCC 39OL, I should write that out if I was submitting it to myself. Policy class code 39 outliers removed. So I've got the table down here. And you see I've color coded how I can check my work. So this is the totals from the descriptives table, and I go down here and I can compare it to the totals from my policy class code table and match to make sure everything is still lining up. I can compare the percentage, I can compare the average. So I know that I'm going along. And then some of you forgot to do this. Every time you do this risk priority number table, you need to do a Pareto analysis to determine where is the 80%. What priorities am I going to focus on and identify them? So let's go to the accident source. I've got the accident source table here. Again, if I was submitting to myself, I'd have titles set up. I may provide table numbers. And then I would put the comments. This, in order to determine the priorities, the top 9 represented 33.89% of the 40%, which is the equivalent of 84%. Therefore, I've got my Pareto ratio. These are what they were, and this is what they accounted for. And this is for 39 room. If it were me, I'd even be looking down here to find out what down here may be represented and start commenting on that. That's going to help me later on when I'm writing my paper versus trying to figure it out at that point. That's why I'm asking you to start thinking about it. That's accident source. I've got the accident location. See, I can compare my totals to the table up above, and they all match up. So I know that everything is being accounted for. Again, start from the beginning, and as you build your analysis, you're reusing the previous tab and building onto it. And you can just insert rows to make more room for it, as long as you don't mess anything up. See, some of you are deleting or moving around columns. That's difficult. That's going to screw up your outliers that are down below. The new cause, and this is what you're going to be doing this week, is recoding a new variable, like a parent variable versus a child variable. Remember what Carrie Parman talked about? And I've got my top 4 here. I colored this one a little bit differently simply because of the magnitude of the jump of the RPN. That's the only reason why. I still looked at all 4 of these. I would realize that if I analyzed caught in or in between for 2220 or 8032, if it just didn't work out after I reduced the data, I would understand that. I'd understand that it's lesser for a reason. And this is with outliers removed. The accident source, I already did accident source. Accident location is what I was going to show you. So I did this as well. I thought this was interesting. I built this so then when I start doing my final analyses and I'm only looking at 2220 and I'm only looking at 8032, I want to see how this accident location is affected. Maybe there's an additional layer of recommendation here or additional layer of forecasting that I can do. Then what you should be doing is, this is my tab for 2220 all. So it's got the outliers were put back in. So if I was only looking at policy class code 2220, this would be my forecasting results. And by building it this way, what it allows me to do is to copy this to a new tab and then sort by new cause and delete all the claims that have the new cause entry that I don't want to look at. So it just leaves, say, 2220 overexertion. And then every table updates automatically. And I just have to update the charts because the charts that I copy and paste are based on the previous. And so look what I have here. And this is probably important. That I've got my averages, they equal out, and I can compare it to all the tables I have there. And then I've got my forecasted table here. So I've got the table average integer per year. I've got the total paid average. I've got my average paid per claim. And then I've got my figure estimates. So I plotted the claim count and the total paid. I extended my best fit line by 2 years. So it goes from 2019 to 2021 because 2020 is green. It's immature. We wouldn't include it in trending. You can see that the R-square values indicate it's not a great estimate by any means. So I enter in what the estimates are. You see, I just go 2021. I go up and I go over and I pick something. I pick the lower of the two to be conservative, to stick into, and I round it to my estimated loss with a 25% return on investment. I can ask for $384,000. That is the most I could ask for. Now, as I start reducing and focusing on individual new causes, the numbers are going to be below this. So I know that now. It's giving me more guidance. 8032, same thing. What's interesting about the two is when you start looking at, like, this is with outliers removed. And what's interesting, and I don't have the graphs here. This is 220, 39 outliers removed. I don't have any claims in 2011, 2012. What I decided to do is I actually analyzed it by not even counting those years. So here's slip, trip, and fall. This ended up being my number one. I didn't count 2011 through 13 when you're looking at slip, trip, and fall. So I took the average based on only when there was a number, and it brought up the numbers a little bit, because if it's anchoring at a 0, it's going to cause it to be more steep. And so I evened it out. Well, I guess I didn't do it here. I did it on another one to make it a little better representation. And so you're going to be building these tables for each, policy class code and a cause. So I have 8 of them. I have 8 tabs that I calculated. And if I go all the way to the end, then I'm just filling out this final result table. So let's go back so you understand what I'm talking about here. You're writing the draft technical report this week. I'm going to be asking for more next week as you're coming up with the priorities. Let's go back here. And I'm just going to show you again what is due. And I think it is the individual tabs I just talked about with a forecast. You're trying to fill out that table. That's due by the 20th. Then you have until the 27th to really make sure that everything is correct. And then on the 30th, the whole thing's due. That's why this is a good time to really start looking at your comments and cleaning it up and housekeeping and everything like that. This is taking quite a while. I don't know why it's not bringing it up. I was hoping it was going to do it by now. But anyway, for not this Friday, the following Friday, so for the 20th, 8th, 20th, here it is. New cause codes. So use the Excel document, the mechanics and tips, and watch that video and show how I populated a new tab. You insert a column right next to accident source and you fill it in there. You don't manipulate the original. You add a column. It's yours then. Sorry, just looking at this again. Once you have the new causes, you do another RPN table and a Pareto ratio like I had done. I had 4. I showed you. And then what you're doing is you're kind of setting up an approach, and that is take your top policy class code priority. So what you do is you bring over what you just found with your new causes, you sort by policy class code and delete everything that is not your focus. So for 2220, I sort it. I delete everything every claim that is not a 2220 policy class code, and then I'm just left with 2220. And then I trend that, and I forecast that. Now what I can do is copy that to a new tab, sort by new cause, remove everything I'm not going to focus on, and as you saw in that example, it was just looking at slip, trip, and fall, and then I trend that. That allows me to estimate future losses, forecast future losses for anybody who has a policy class code 2220 and the slip, trip, and fall claims, of what the future loss could be. And then also in the table I do the average, and then I populate it and I account for the outliers down below. I only look at the 2220 slip, trip, and fall down below, and that's the result for that one priority. I got to do that 7 more times, then populate the final table. And I'm sure you're going to have questions. I'm sorry this went so long, but make sure that you, one, start cleaning up your Excel sheets. Make sure you're naming them, storing them safely with redundancy. 2, sign up for Thursday's lecture. And 3, join me on Thursday at 12:30 on the WebEx that I built through our Canvas page if you have any questions. It's better that you're working on this stuff and figuring it out and then contacting me than waiting till the day before it's due. Some of you are doing that, and that's a bad choice. I'll just put it that way. That's all I got for now.